Please let me know when you can see my screen.
Okay. I can see your screen now.
Okay.
Foundation training.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Please, can you confirm you can hear me very clearly?
Yes, your audio is loud and
Yes, we
clear.
can hear you, ma. Good morning, ma.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you to the management and leadership of Transformation College for this opportunity to present this topic to the students. Okay, like I've been introduced, my name is Bukola Bamidele, and I'll be presenting and training us on ISO 1002 version 2028, which has to do with customer satisfaction management, okay? An effective guide, a guide to effective complaint handling and customer satisfaction. So before I move on, has anybody heard about ISO before? Is this your first time of hearing the word ISO? And if this is your first time, can raise your hand so I can know where to start from. And in case you are familiar with the word ISO, you can just drop it in the chat box so that I can be very sure that when we hear the word ISO, we know what it means. Anyone? Okay, because I'm using presenter mode, I might not see your hand. So Demola, you might want to just let me know if anybody's raising their hand.
Oh, all right, I will do so.
Okay, so I was asking the question, have we ever heard the word ISO before? Yes, or if this is your first time hearing the word ISO, yes. Okay, somebody said yes. Okay, thank you. Any other person? This is only one person. Okay. Oh, so someone said yes again. Okay, I see that we're familiar with ISO. Well, if you are a student of Transformation College, I'm sure you must be familiar with the word ISO. But for those who might not know, for the benefit of those who might not know what ISO means. So ISO is called the International Organization of Standardization, right? So it's an organization that develop, standards for different industry, for different, sectors. And one of it, oh, somebody has even dropped, okay, definition. So one of the standards we're going to be discussing, one of the standard they've written is what we're going to be discussing today, and it's called ISO 1002. And when you see the word the number 2018, that's speaking to the version, right, of the particular standard that we are talking about. So for ISO 1002, 2018 is the latest and current version, and it changes, over time, but when it changes, that will also be communicated. Anyway, so let's quickly move on. So again, ISO 1002 speaks to customer satisfaction management, especially how to handle complaints, effectively and efficiently, right? So I'll be moving on. So what we intend to achieve today, to understand what the scope of the standard is and structure, learn key principles of complaints, explore customer satisfaction, fundamentals review of complaints, right? How to implement and guide how to implement an effective complaint handling process. So that is what we're going to be looking at this morning. So what is ISO 1002 all about, right? Like I said, it's a standard, and in its in layman's document that outlines, that provides guidelines for the process of complaint handling related to products and service within the organization. right? So, but before I move on, it's inevitable for you to, say you run a business or you work in an organization, right? Or you're dealing with people and there won't be any complaints at some point in time, right? Sometimes it's inevitable. But the question is, how do we handle those complaints? How do we ensure that our customers are satisfied, right? And we have different kind of customer, but we get them. But let's also again look at ISO 1002. So it's a document, right, that provides guidelines for the process of complaint handling related to products and services within an organization or within organizations, right? It also outlines effective processes for receiving, right? How do you receive the complaints? How do you evaluate it? And how do you now respond to the complaints, from your customers, whereby enhancing customer satisfaction? Also, the standard is applicable to organizations regardless of the size of the sector. So if you work in an organization, whether it's a SME or a medium size or a large corporation, this standard is applicable to that organization, whether you're running a business, whether it's still on the very so the starting phase, or it's already on the growth phase, or whatever phase that your business is as at today, this standard is applicable. Because why? You always have to give it customers, right? So they either tell you, oh, thank you for the excellent service, or they say, oh, I didn't enjoy that. So this standard is providing you how to handle complaints, which eventually enhances customer satisfaction, right? So how you relate to your customer, how you handle your complaints can determine how satisfied they'll be with the product, can determine if they will come back, to patronize whatever service or product you're offering, right? So one of the key features, of ISO 1002 is that it is customer focused, very, very customer focused. It's all about your customer, how you can satisfy your customer, how you can meet their needs, putting their interests and expectations into consideration. So that is what, one of the things that ISO 1002, addresses. Another thing is that it supports quality management system, right? Which is, that's the ISO 9001. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but the ISO 9001 is also a standard, that documents the management, the processes for quality management system. It is compatible with that standard, and also 9004. And also, finally, it drives continuous improvement. Okay, if you're familiar with ISO standards, especially the management systems ones, there is always something that is, unique and statutory amongst all of them, is that it is driving, or it drives continuous improvement, whether it is 9001, whether it is ISO 1002, whether it is information security, whether it is BCMS, whatever standard, as long as management system, you must, be ready to continue to improve your processes, improve your systems, improve your people, improve your your environment. So it's all about continuous improvement. And this standard is all about, improving the way you handle customer complaints, the way you satisfy or, enhance, your customer satisfaction. Okay, so let's move on. Please, can you still hear me? Am I still audible?
Yes, loud and clear, smoothly.
Okay, thank you. Now, we'll quickly look at the scope and purpose of ISO 1002, right? So like I mentioned, ISO 1002 provides a guideline process for complaint handling, right? And it is suitable for, for use as one of the processes with an overall quality management system, right? So what it's trying to say here is that you can have a good quality management system, which has to do with your processes, okay? That has to do with your systems, and also, infuse ISO 1002 into it, because it's also customer-centric, customer-focused, right? Because you're dealing with people. And one of the things you want to do is enhancing customer satisfaction through feedback, That's one of the things that ISO 1002 preaches, right? That one of the things you can do to enhance customer satisfaction is through feedback. Feedback is very, very important. In 9001, it was elaborated there, and 1002 is like a continuation, right? Just that it is more focused on complaints handling. Second is management, involvement, and commitment, which has to do with clause 5, right? So management, involvement, and commitment to the management system, to the framework called, complaint and ISO 1002, right? And also continual improvement of products and services. Okay. And lastly, integration with existing quality process. ISO 1002 cannot stand on its own without you having a process or system. Do you understand? Like, you run a business called ABC now. If you don't have customers, 1002 might not work for that, right? But once you have customers who are, patronizing your services or your product, then there is a need. That is where ISO 1002 will be very, very effective in the way you enhance, your customer satisfaction. So the purpose or the scope of 1002 is all about the scope of ISO 1002 is about handling, enhancing customer satisfaction through effective customer complaints handling. So now let's look at the relationship between, please, a minute, just a minute, please. Okay, apologies. Please, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So, like I was saying, let's quickly look at the relationship between ISO 1002 and other standards. So there are various standards. So please don't be perplexed if you hear me saying some Greek words today. Just, follow me. So 1002, again, like I said, can be infused with other standards. One of the other standards is ISO 9001, which speaks to quality management system, right? Then we have the ISO 9004 that speaks to sustained success, right? Then we have ISO 1001. What we are addressing to the 1002, right? So we can see that it has a lot of family members. It has 1001, has to do with code of conduct, 1003 that has to do with dispute resolution, and 1004 that has to do with customer satisfaction monitoring. Okay, so relationship with this all the standards, as you can see on the screen, can be used. ISO 1002 can be used on its own, independently, but it can also be used, with all of these standards that that you can see on the screen as in conjunction. Another thing that it can be integrated as a framework. Okay, it can be integrated as a framework to enhance customer satisfaction, right? So what does that mean? You can say, okay, you are aligning your customer complaint handling process with ISO 1002. So meaning that however you go about handling the process of your complaint, however you go about the process of your complaint handling aligns with ISO 1002. So that's how you can use, the standard. Again, the information from complaint handling can support customer satisfaction monitoring, right? You can't monitor what you don't, there's no data for, right? So once you're able to get the data, you're able to evaluate it, then you can monitor the progress of the corrective actions or the what they call it, the effectiveness of the corrective action that have been implemented. So that is how, you can infuse or integrate ISO 1002 with all of these other standards. Okay. So let's quickly look at the 14 key principles of ISO 1002. Number one is confidentiality, right? We must understand that we need to protect our customer information. Okay, so our customers expect us to protect their information, data protection, like we call it today, or data privacy, right? Number two is customer-focused approach. Whatever service or product that you're offering, ensure that your customer are the center of it. Okay, they are the center of your process. They are the center of your product development. So when you're developing that product, you are putting them into what consideration that, okay, how will my customer feel about it? What will be their notion? What will their perception about this offering, right? Whatever actions you're taking, know that your customers are the center of it, right? And there's only one output that you want to derive is what? Positive feedback. Happy customers, satisfied customers. You don't want any of the customers to be dissatisfied or unhappy. So you have to ensure that, 1002 is saying that you have to be customer focused, right? The way you handle complaints has to be customer focused. The way you develop your product has to be customer focused. The way you approach, do you get the delivery of your product or services has to be what? Customer focused. The next one is accountability. Are we together? Accountability. You have to have a clear reporting and responsibility approach, right? If something is wrong, or for example, let me give you an example. Now you maybe you sell air, right? And you told the customer that, oh, this will be delivered between 3 to 4 days, and something along the line, something happened, and you're not able to meet up with that delivery timelines you've given to your customer. What you can do is that you're accountable to the customers. You are meant to, speak to the customer and say, please, so because of this issue, I won't be able to meet up with the client. I will need like extra 2 days, right? But some business owners or entrepreneurs don't even bother. The customer will not be able to communicate that, you said that you're going to deliver this product today. I've not seen. You say, I'm sorry, man, can you go, and all of that. So we need to be accountable. Your customers can be, if you work in an organization, the customers can be the staff, can be the top management, the leadership, right? If you own a business, your customers, you have to be accountable to your customers and to those who work with you. So when I mean accountability, when I say customers, I'm not just referring to those who buy something from you. I'm talking about the stakeholders, the shareholders in the business or organization that you work in, right? So let's move on. Number 4, improvement. Remember I said that one of the key drivers that ISO 1002, enforces is what? Continuous improvement. You have to keep improving your processes, how you do the delivery of your service or products, how you handle complaints, how you develop your product, and all of that. You have to continue to improve your processes, your systems, the people that work with you, right? You train them to become better at what they do. If you have a customer service department, you have to keep training them so that they can improve the way they handle customer complaints, the way they handle customer inquiries, and all of that. If you don't train them and you tell them to give you, if their knowledge or their skills is 4 and you tell them to give you 10, that is not possible. You can't give what you don't have. So you have to keep improving yourself, right? If you're an entrepreneur here, you have to keep improving your staff, right? And also your products, right? You have to keep improving it. So improvement is not what's the word now? It's not optional. It is compulsory, right? Very, very mandatory when you're aligning with international standards. Okay, let's move on. Competence. Again, competence, skills, and knowledge of the personnel. The people who are in charge of attending to customers, whether you have a designated department for that, or you as a person, you are both the what they call it, the producer or the business owner, and also the one attending to customers. What skills do you have when it comes to handling complaints, when it comes to handling customer inquiry, when it comes to customer satisfaction? So thank God we are in this class. So one of the things that you're doing now is to gain knowledge on how to effectively handle customer complaints, which, results to customer satisfaction enhancement. Okay. So skills and knowledge is very important when it comes to customer, satisfaction, when it comes to complaints, handling. The next one is timeliness. Very, very, very important. Timeliness, prompt response and resolution to complaints. Okay. Now, sometimes when we buy things from, people who sell or products or from an organization, and you tell them, oh, this product has a defect. Maybe they sent an email, no response, or an Instagram chat, no response for maybe 1 or 2 days. The customer gets agitated, right? And it can result to, actions from the customer. Either the customer, now that we're in social media, customers can just go online or to Twitter or it's X that we call it now to say, oh, so company, blah, 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 and all of that. Or just a very bad review on your comment section that is very, visible, public to everyone. So you don't want to get to that point, right? So timeliness is very, very important. Whether it's in delivery, you have to be, on time, whether it's in handling customer complaints, right? So I'm focusing more on customer complaints. When your customer sends a complaint, the process should be that within 24 hours, such complaints should be handled and resolved. Do you get? So if something that you cannot resolve within 24 hours, you should let the customer know that this cannot be resolved. Do you get? Cannot be resolved, within this stipulated time. This is, it take us 24 hours, 48 hours, or 72 hours to resolve this. So the customer is aware and is informed. Next is commitment, right? Dedication to resolving complaints. You have to ensure that you have processes in place that ensures dedication to resolving complaints. There's a dedicated email to, that receives complaints. Somebody is responsible for, for that, escalating it to the right parties to handle it, right? So we have to be commitment to ensuring that we handle complaints effectively. And the next one is capacity, right? What are the resources you have in place to handle complaints? Do you have a complaint tracker? Is there a dedicated email to receive complaints? Who is responsible for what? So all of those things have to be put in place. Resources have to be put in place in terms of the people, in terms of the structure, in terms of the system, right? In handling complaints. Another one is transparency. Transparency. One of the way you can gain the loyalty of your customer is when you're transparent with them, especially when there are issues, right? Don't be silent or keep silent and allow the customer to try to figure out what is wrong. Rather, be proactive to be able to say, oh, we have a technical issue, because sometimes it's inevitable. No system is perfect, right? So a customer does not expect you to have a system that is perfect, but the customer expects that you are transparent when there are issues so that they can be aware and be able to give room, do you get, for whatever issues and be patient with you. But when you're not transparent, it causes a lot of issues, trust issues between you and your customers. Okay. So clear processes in communication is very, very important. Number 10, accessibility, right? You have to be very accessible. Easy access to complaint procedure. They should sit on your website. Okay, for complaints, kindly write to this email, or they see a complaint. If you go to SMBP, you get websites there, we have it there. Get how we handle complaints. So they do the process and they are informed about how we handle processes. There's a dedicated email to receive their complaints, and there's a document email that is resolving that complaint. So accessibility is very, very, very important. How you respond, number 11, responsiveness, how you respond to the complaint also is critical, right? It's very, very important. Is it timely and is it appropriate? Do you take the appropriate actions towards it? Number 12 is objectivity. Okay, you are very fair and unbiased. So whether you know the customers, you don't know the customers, handle them like a unique customer, right? The customer can be your friend, but don't say because it's my friend, or I know you. Do you understand? Yeah, you now handle it, unprofessionally. Trust me, that friend of yours will not tell you, but would not refer somebody to you, but just say, okay, we'll just use friend to accommodate that behavior. But trust me, that friend would not refer someone to your business, right? So you want to be very objective, fair and unbiased, handle complaint professionally. Next is charges, right? Free of charge complaint process and information integrity, right? Accurate and complete data management. So these are the 14 key principles that you can adopt for your everyday effective complaint handling process within your organization or the business that you own or you will own. Okay, please, are we still together?
Yes, we are. We are still together.
Yes, ma, we are still together. Ma.
Okay. So we'll talk about the principles in practice now. And again, when I said customer-focused approach, right, is to create a dedicated feedback channel and follow up with customers after resolution. So we're trying to look at this in practice. I was talking about the principles, right? So we want to see how we can put this into practice. So one of the ways when we talk about customer-focused approach is that you have a dedicated feedback channel. How do you collect feedbacks, right? Either you through a feedback form, right? Or through a dedicated portal, right? That can infuse complaints. For those, maybe you run, maybe like the banks, you know, that run, or organizations that run, like customers are always coming to your store physically, right? It's not online. You want to have a box, Gget, or something that does so that they can go there in a notepad that they can just write, you know, their feedback, right? So from their feedback, you're able to know where you are doing well and where you need to improve, okay? And there's customer, how you know, resolve those, sorry, there's complaints, how you resolve those complaints. Next one is confidentiality, okay? You need to implement a secure data handling protocols and obtain explicit consent for information use, right? So when you're collecting data, maybe your customer's name, email address, and all of that. You might want to tell them why you collect it. Because I remember I went to a supermarket and after I bought something, the person asked me for my name and phone number, and I said, why do you need my information? Said for loyalty stuff. I said, is it ready? No. I said, when it's ready, then I would sign up. Do you understand? So if you let me know, right, you need my information and what you're going to be using my information for. So you might want to put those things in place, right? So for example, now on for SMBP now, when people are trying to, you know, register to take a course with us, there's a point that says, agreed for us to be able to use your information for marketing purposes. So if you click that, it means you have agreed. If you don't click it, then it means you've not agreed. So that means we won't send you any marketing, you know, information. So confidentiality is very, very important. Transparency and accessibility, right? You need to publish clear complaint procedures across multiple platforms. Like I said, your website is the first place, right? Where you want to let people know that, okay, this is how we handle complaint. This is how you can let us know, you know, report any complaints that you have. Next one is timeliness and responsiveness. Okay, establish clear SLAs for response times and provide immediate acknowledgement of complaints. Okay, so you can just tell them that, okay, for this product you are buying on the services, so it will take us 48 hours, 2 to 3 days, 4 to 5 days, right? So if you deliver the products or the services before that time, then you know you're a good point. But if it's late and there's no communication, then you know that is not a good sign, right? Also, the way you respond when a customer sends you a complaint via email or Instagram chat or whatever channel you've provided, let there be a quick response to say, oh, we have seen and acknowledged, you know, your message or your complaint, right? So that's under customer-focused implementation. Now let's move to organizational excellence, accountability and objectivity, right? You need to assign clear responsibilities for complaint resolution and evaluate complaints based on facts, not assumptions. Okay, what is the root cause of this issue, right? Who is responsible for this? Why did this happen? Okay, what do we need to do to resolve it? That it does not reoccur again. Because that is how you say you're having a effective complaint handling process. That it does not what reoccur again. So you are tackling the root cause, not the person. What led to this, so that we can tackle it and address it and ensure that it doesn't reoccur again. We call that in ISO 9001 preventive actions, right? Okay, next one is improvement and competence. Okay, regular analysis of complaint data. You have to not just receive it or harvest it, you must analyze it, right? So when you analyze it, then you can then what prefer solution to it. And also providing the staff with complaint handling training. So if you're an entrepreneur here, you need to take this training back to your staff. And if you work in the customer department here, you're already receiving one. So you need to, adopt this framework and then, infuse it into your day-to-day activity when it comes to how you handle your customers, right? And then commitment and capacity. You have to be committed to complaint process, right? Because it's inevitable, something that will happen because you're dealing with people, right? So you must have, you want to be committed to ensure that you handle complaints effectively and efficiently, right? And also leadership must actively support the process by providing what the resources needed, ensuring that the people are trained, right? Giving them the required competence to be able to handle complaints effectively. And lastly is information integrity and charges, right? Maintain accurate complaint records and ensure complaint handling is free for customers. But I've not seen anyone that charges for this complaint, so it's meant to be free. Anyway, so you need to ensure that you are customer focused and the end result is customer satisfaction and organizational excellence. Okay, so let's move on. What is the fundamental of customer satisfaction? So before I move on, I just want to quickly ask someone here. When you get the word customer satisfaction, what comes to your mind? Anybody? Anyone? I would like to hear from you. Please, you can unmute yourself and speak. Don't read what's on my screen. Just tell me your own understanding.
Yeah, sorry, customer satisfaction. I think
Isaac. I can't hear you. There's a lot of background noise.
yeah, customer satisfaction, meeting the needs of customers.
I'm struggling to hear you because of the background noise. You can just put it in the chat box. You can put it in the chat box. Any other person? Any other person, when you hear the word customer satisfaction, or let me even ask you, how do you, what's the word now? I'm sure everybody is a customer to one business or the other, right? So what comes to your mind when you say you are satisfied? What makes you feel that you have been satisfied by the product you bought or by the service rendered to you by an organization? So I'd like to hear from us. Quickly. Anyone? Please, can you still hear me?
Hello, we can hear you. Customer's application and simply mean value is received. When you get valued, or when customer get valued for service, you can term that as a satisfaction also.
Okay. Any other input? What makes you feel that have the feeling of satisfaction as a customer? Oh yeah, everybody we buy or offer services to people, or we also buy services from people, right? So I want to hear from us. Please, can we speak? Okay, when I get the value I'm paying for without stress. Quick resolution of issues. Thank you, Princess. Olariwa says quality management of the product and service received. Good. It expressed true feedback. Fantastic. Refers to the authenticity of a product. When my expectation is met. Exactly. Thank you very much, Yinka. When my expectation is met, it means that what you are satisfied because you have an expectation. If you're buying a dress, you say that the dress is in good order, it is beautiful, there are no dents, whatever. So once that expectation is met, right, it means that you have been what? Satisfied. So that is what customer satisfaction is all about. When you are able to meet the expectation of your customers. Do you understand? There's something in ISO 9001, I think clause 4.1 or 4.2 or 5.1, you know, understanding the expectation of your interested party. I think it's 4.3, so 4.2, right? So it's about meeting the expectation of your customers. So what is customer satisfaction? It's a measure of how products or services supplied by a company meets, you can hear the word meets there, right? Or surpasses the customer's expectation. Because there is always an expectation, right? Either in quality, either in the packaging, either in the delivery, whatever it is. When you say your customer is satisfied, or when the customer says, I am satisfied, it means you have met his or her what? Expectations. So the satisfaction equation is customer satisfaction equals to customer experience and customer expectation. Okay? Customer experience plus customer expectation equals to what? Customer satisfaction. Right? So when your customer experiences meet or exceeds expectations, satisfaction what? Occurs. But when when experience falls short of expectation, dissatisfaction results. All right. So when you hear the word customer, the equation of customer satisfaction is customer experience plus customer expectation. So you merge these two together, gives you when you add these two together, it gives you what? Customer satisfaction. You cannot remove or minus the expectation from the experience or the experience from the expectation. Both of them syncs together, right? To give us the results called customer satisfaction. But when these are not met, it results in what? Dissatisfaction. So what are the key satisfaction drivers? One, product quality, right? What is the quality of the product in terms of the performance, in terms of the features and the reliability, right? And even the delivery, especially if it's a service, right? Another one is service quality, the responsiveness, the assurance, and the empathy. Do you understand why you're delivering that service? Somebody said value. Thank you for that. Value is also important, right? When your customer gains the value or gains value, they are satisfied. Because I don't want to spend my money on something. Please, 1 minute. Apologies for that. Yeah, back. Please, can you still hear me?
Yes, I
Hello?
can hear you.
Okay, just wait. Thank you very much. So value is very, very critical, right? Whatever service or product that you are offering, value is exchanged, value is received, right? So if that value is not there, then that'll be a waste of the people's time. So if you're in this training and you're not gaining value, to be like a waste of your time and money, right? But because you're gaining value, you have it's resulting to satisfaction from you, and so you're happy with Transformational College. So that is how one of the key drivers of satisfaction. Another one is reputation, right? Brand perception and trust. What are people saying about you? I don't know if anybody here does it, but when I want to buy a product, I check the reviews. Actually, it's online, right? I check the reviews and come in here to what people are saying about this product. When I see 1 star, 2 star, people complaining, I don't bother to buy that product, right? So the perception is very, very important. How people perceive you. What are people saying about the service you offer? What are people saying about the products you're offering? And lastly is how you handle complaints. Again, how issues are resolved quickly and in time, okay? So these are the key satisfaction drivers when you say, when we're speaking about customer satisfaction. Now, what are the types of customers we have, right? We have two main customer types, right? One are internal customers, and another one is external customers. For corporate organizations, it's very, distinct for them. The internal customers are who can help me? Internal customers are who? Anyone? Anyone? Okay, let me see the chat room. Nobody's responding to me. I'm asking who are those we call internal customers? Anybody? You can unmute or write on in the chat box. Staff, thank you very much, Isaac. Staff members, yes. Managers, right? Management or leadership, they are all internal customers. Then external customers are those who receive the service you are offering or the products that you have, right? Okay, so let's quickly move on. So your customers can be your colleague, parents, like you said, staff members, whatever department you're working in, and externals are those outside of the organization who use or purchase or receive the offerings or service that you offer. Okay, so let's move on. Now let's quickly look at the levels and factors affecting customer satisfaction, right? So the first level is basic needs, dissatisfiers, right? So service customers take for granted. You know, absence leads to dissatisfaction, but presence does not create satisfaction. Basically, like water. Do you understand? You have to. I'm living in your house. There has to be water. Do you understand? It's a basic need. You know, it's not something that we need to negotiate. I don't know if you get my point. Or you move to a house, there has to be toilets. Do you get? So those are basic needs. I don't know, or your child, your parents here, you have to provide food, right? Hair or clothes. So those are basic needs. So they're not going to appreciate you, like say thank you and all of that, because why? This is a basic need. Then we have the performance needs, which are the satisfiers. We call the satisfiers, right? So requirements specifically requested by customers, right? And for example, you are looking at, okay, I want to integrate a payment gateway to, I run an online business, payment gateway into with my business and all of that. Right? So I think that integration you have done is able to give me the value of what I want, right? So so when I'm able to receive money from anywhere without me being there, then see I'm satisfied, right? So there's a performance, that's the performance need. Now there's the excitement needs. We call it delighters, right? So unaffected features or service that create high levels of satisfaction. So for example, you let me use an example that we can relate to. Okay, maybe you bought an electronic appliance, right? And then you now got maybe a kitchen tool along with it. You're not expecting that. What you wanted was maybe the blender, right? Then you're not giving a free gift. There's a free gift inside. That is what excitement needs. You have gone beyond what is requested for. Right? So unexpected features or services, or I say, oh, because you bought this course from us, we're offering you a free course. Do you understand? Or transformational college says, oh, because I did this course for us, we'll give you, maybe an internship or something. I'm just using that as an example, right? So that is excitement needs that delight us, right? So these are the levels of customer satisfaction. But what are those things that can affect customer satisfaction? Number one, quality, right? Two, pricing. Pricing. Nigerians, we like to negotiate, right? Because something 5,000, ask you can't see it to be 2,005, right? So pricing, value perception, and price quality relationship too also affect satisfaction, right? Because if I'm paying 10,000 for this thing, that value I'm getting should be worth that 10,000, not less. If it is more, right, very excited about it. If it is great, as if you've met this, yeah, we're satisfied, right? Now is service. The next one is service. how you respond to complaints, how you respond to inquiries, how you're professional about it, your availability, generally if you run online business, right? How available when people send you an email or an Instagram chat or a Twitter chat or Facebook chat, whatever it is channel that you're using to communicate with your customers, how responsive are you? How available are you, right? Reputation, also very important. Aesthetics. When you're building your product or your services, how, you have to also be concerned about the aesthetics of it, be it your website, be it your product landing page, even your environment, how beautiful, when the ambience, right, is very, very important. Because when I come to your physical location, it has to be neat, beautiful. And I'm looking around, I'm like, wow, do you understand? There's air conditioning that I'm not sweating. You get my point. So aesthetics is also very important. And if you don't have this in place, it can result to dissatisfaction. Next is responsiveness. How you respond to either inquiries or complaints, right? So it's very important, how responsive you are is also very critical and can be a factor that can affect satisfaction. So let's quickly look at the complaint handling framework. Okay, as you can see this diagram, the first one here is what? Context of the organization, right? Identifying the relevant and external issues and stakeholders. Who are your internal stakeholders? Who are your external stakeholders? What are their expectations? What are they interested in? Expectations. And ISO 9001 is very, very critical for you to identify those things. Who are our stakeholders? What are their expectations? Right? You need to, have that thing documented, right? Then also, how committed is the leadership? Right? When you hear customer complaints, you just say, well, this customer complaint now, that's not important. It is important because it affects the reputation of your business. It affects the brand of your business. So you have to put in the right resources in place, be it in people or the system, right? And for the people, you need to train them. Don't just assume they know how to handle customer complaints or how to derive customer satisfaction. You have to train them. And this is how we want to, satisfy our customers, right? This is how we want our customers to, and the experience we want them to have. So you have to train them on those, elements, right? Next is policy. Because like again, customer focused complaint handling policy. What do you have a policy in place to say, oh, we do this, this is how we do them? Are your employees aware, or is just somewhere in the computer, right? Are your internal customers aware that, okay, this is our policy when it comes to customer handling, complaint handling rather, right? Then we go to planning and operations, implementation of processes and procedures. You have to plan. Now we come about the PDCA cycle. Plan, do, check, and act. You plan, then you take actions, right? Then you check what has been done and act on anything that requires improvement. Next one is resources and support. This speaks to clause 7, right? You have to ensure that you have the right personnel. They are giving the right training, right? Their documentation. How do you document the complaint? Do you have a complaint log? You need to have a complaint log. Very important, whether it is online or it is physical. Do you get? But we're in a digital world, so scrap paper has to be online. Do you get? You can use an Excel sheet or a Google sheet or a Word document, whatever resources you're using, just ensure that it is documented. Or you have a CRM that harvests and stores the data and you can track, right? Reason for documentation so that you can be able to track and monitor. Then performance evaluation, right? You analyze it, you put measurements, you say, oh, we want to be able to resolve complaints within 24 to 48 hours. How well are we doing in this area? How do we measure? We don't want to receive more than 10 complaints in a year, right? What are the things you have put in place to ensure that you meet those things, or you want to reduce it by 10% or by 20% or by 30%? So it has to be measured. You have to have measurable metrics, right, for your complaint handling process. You have to monitor it and you have to evaluate or analyze it, okay, to see how well you're performing when it comes to complaint handling. And last one, which is the biggest and the brotherhood of all, continual improvement. Again, It is very important. It is mandatory. It is compulsory. It is not optional that this should be implemented. Continuous improvement, right? So you have to improve your systems, your products, your environment, whatever it is that comprises of the business or the service or the product that you offer, you have to keep improving them. And you can do that through the customer feedbacks, right? So the benefit of this framework is that it gives you a structured approach to handling complaints, right? It ensures that we have a clear role and responsibility documented. Who is doing what and what is their role, right? Who is responsible for this and what are they meant to do, right? Also integration with quality management system. And lastly, focuses on continual improvement. Don't be status school. Keep improving, right? How you handle your customers. Okay, so these are some of the roles that we can,
Sorry, ma'am.
within the complaint handling process, right?
Sorry, ma'am.
Yeah.
I would advise we wrap up because of the time.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you. So complaint handling step by step. First, you receive, right? That's the first step. Second, you record. Then you move on to evaluate, assess the severity and impact. Then you implement the solution. Okay. Then you implement preventive actions by what? Continuous improvement. Then analyze, review the patterns and trends, and lastly, you respond. Communicate the outcome of the resolution that has been implemented. So these are the guidelines. Because of time, I might not be able to go through this. But one of the implementation steps you can take is from starting with policy development to training your staff and getting trained, to monitoring the process, continual improvement, and alignment with organizational goals. So this is one of the benefits of an effective complaint system. One, enhances customer loyalty. No matter what, once your customer are satisfied, they will be loyal, right? It reduces business risks, right? Prevent negative publicity and protect brand reputation. And the last one is organizational improvement, right? Complete data that identifies products or services in a way there's need for you to improve the weakness and opportunities that are out there to take advantage of. So these are some of the benefits of an effective complaints management systems. Okay, summary and key takeaways. Out of the plenty things I've discussed today, I'd like us to remember this 5 points. One, ISO 1002 provides a framework for what effective complaint handling, right? There are 14 key principles that helps to guide the complaint management process. Customer satisfaction requires understanding the different needs and expectations of your customers. Don't forget that. Then the next one is effective implementation requires commitment from top management. Okay, the leadership have to be involved, not just the staff or the floor members. Leadership have to be involved. And lastly is that complaints provides valuable opportunities for organizational improvement. Don't see complaints in a negative, lens, right? But see it from a positive lens. That it provides valuable opportunities for organizational improvement. So one of the things we want to do today, go in an organization or in the customer satisfaction department, or that you can even recommend to your organization, right, is that the organization needs to develop an organization complaints policy if that does not exist as of today. Establish clear rules and responsibilities. Who is doing what and what are they doing, right? And also implement, not just implement the process, but ensure that you monitor, the process and ensure that it is continually improved. Thank you very much. We'd like to take questions now, if there are any.
Questions before we go for the break. You can unmute your mic to speak, or you can just type your question in the chat box. Okay, seems there are no questions. So
Thank you
kindly,
very
thank you very much. Kindly help me appreciate Ms. Bukola for a wonderful session today. In the comment, I can see Olayinka. Thank you very much, ma'am. Stephen, thank you so much for that insightful session. Lovely, lovely. So the attendance list has been, the attendance form has been sent to the group. Please, sorry, to the chat. So please kindly fill that up as soon as possible. We'll be going for a break now, and the class will be resuming 12 o'clock on the dot. And you can just use this time to stretch your leg, get a snack and drink water, just relax a bit. And we'll be right back with business analyst. All right, see you then.